They had arguments. They thought they were better than the other guy beside them. They had all kinds of stuff going on. And I mean, that's who they were. They got sent out to do healings, miracles, and all that, and that was wonderful. But you know, when the crucifixion came, and Peter was standing around the fire when Jesus was in the judgment hall, what did he do? Lie. He denied Jesus 3 times. And we'd say, oh, that would never be me. Oh, let's look at our past week. Have we denied Jesus at some point in time? I think most of us at least have done it in our minds, if not with our words. And so, after the resurrection, the disciples were not sure. Did we go back to fishing? Do we go back to what we did before? But Jesus told them, go to Jerusalem into the upper room and pray. He didn't say how long they would pray. And so they went. They went to the upper room and they started to pray. And they prayed, and they prayed, and they prayed. What do you think they were praying about? I think there was something like this. Peter said to John, you know, John, I called you some pretty rough names back a while ago. Would you forgive me? And I think there was quite a bit of cleanup that got done in the upper room. They prayed, and they prayed for 10 days. How many of you have ever gone to a prayer meeting that's lasted 10 days? I don't think any of us have. I know I was in Pensacola in '99 when the big revival went on there, and they had a prayer team that was pretty awesome. They filled the whole choir loft with prayer warriors, and they prayed and they prayed. And then when the preaching and the worship and the preaching began, you could just sense the Holy Spirit fall on the people, and there was wonderful things that happened. As a matter of fact, when the Pensacola revival began, people would go out of the service at 12:30, 1 o'clock at night, line up outside, wait for the service next day. That happened for quite a few years until it slowly started to drop off. Do you think we need to have another Pentecost? William Booth, who wrote some of the songs for the Salvation Army, wrote a song about Pentecost, and I'm not quite sure I remember the name of it, but he prayed, send another Pentecost. And we truly need another Pentecost because, you know something, our old nature, and we all have an old nature, and some days it behaves itself so nice. Oh, it's so nice, especially when we come to church. It puts on its Sunday best. But during the week, when somebody cuts you off on the highway, and I'm sure there's nobody here like that, but some people start using sign language. And you know what I mean. So we do need to spend more time in prayer. And I think, 52 years ago, when I got saved in Winnipeg at Calvary Temple, Sunday evening service, they had a Sunday morning service and a Sunday evening service. Sunday evening service, after the service, everybody was invited to go to the prayer room, and the size of the prayer room was about 350, 400 people. And that room would fill up with people, and they prayed like you guys do. It was loud praying. It was praying in English. It was praying in tongues. It was praying that went on. And you know something? Every Sunday, at the Sunday evening service, which was a gospel service, it was very, very common to see 15, 20 people come to the altar and give their hearts and lives to the Lord. Why? Because Pastor Barber was such a good preacher? No. He was a good preacher, but that wasn't why the people came to the altar. The people came to the altar because the people had prayed that the Holy Spirit would move and convict people and bring them to the altar, and they would fall on their knees and begin to weep and ask the Lord to forgive them. When's the last time we've seen people weeping in church? Sometimes at a funeral we see it, but that's pretty well the only time I think I've seen it lately anyway. But in that prayer room back in Calvary Temple, there was loud weeping for the lost. Do we know how to do that? It's not something you can just turn on. You have to allow the Holy Spirit to break you, to break your proud heart, so that you realize that that lost person could very easily be you, and that we need to reach out in prayer to them and allow the Holy Spirit to convict them and to show them Jesus, and then they will come and give their hearts to the Lord. And that's what Pentecost is all about.